hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're in the world. This is Mohammed Shilan coming to now from the US. As usual, this is our social media review program. We can normally come on Sundays, sometimes at 3 Eastern Time, sometimes at 4. So we're starting in between 3 and 4 today. It's about 10 minutes till 4 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. So we just, for one alatuna, for say, we start in time normally, officially at 3 o'clock, but sometimes we can vary. It can be 3:30. We can start at 3:30 or about 4 o'clock. All right. So anybody in the future, if you try for get we, if you come at 3 or 3:30, get we, try back. Not just assume say we don't get show for that day, because sometimes in putting the program together, we tend to go beyond the starting time. Also, as usual, say I get a co-host, Miss Fadima Savage. We normally can join me. In fact, Naina, the leading host most of the time, but she is temporarily on, I would call that sabbatical or petty leave. So therefore, she is not usually around for start the program with me, but she may appear. And normally, of late, she may not be able to appear in person on the screen, but she will appear on by phone, and it will get in your contribution. When it come on, I go announce to her for say don't come any day on board. So and of course you go when I go know, because when I go hear invoice and hear what you get for say. Now on the program today, we just get a few things that we want to touch on, because there have been developments this past week or this week. Quite a bit of activities in Sierra Leone and Freetown. The number one thing that we want to touch on now, the firing or the sacking or termination of the police chief Sovula. Well, the unexpected termination, let me put it that way there, or the sudden termination or sacking of the police chief, Chief Sovula, and the manner in which he was sacked. So we first of all, we ask una for make una your contribution, state una your opinion, and tell what you think say lead up to in sacking, and why then sack and the way then sack him, and what lead to the public. We will play a video in a few minutes for show the exchange between him and the Minister of Information, and then suddenly he was sacked. Okay, and so we want to talk about that. We want to talk about the appointment of in replacement the new chief we named Sellu, Fayia Sellu, or some people will call him Fayia, but I think it's Fayia, but whichever way, when I'm free for call and tell we how it pronounce the name. So we want for, let we discuss what you want to know about the new police chief, and how, and give your opinion as to what kind of police chief you think say go make, and what kind of police chief you think say Chief Sovula was. Then we also in the midst of it, we get in the same conversation there was a deputy or an assistant IG, no deputy IG, with a woman by the name of Elizabeth Toure. for all intents and purposes, as far as we know, she was number two. She was next in rank. So we elect for no why then skip her, why they not get, she was not appointed. If anybody get opinion, we're just curious. But we also want to let the public know, say there was a woman who was a deputy, and I think it's reported that she was the first police woman to have risen to that rank there. But and she's still within the rank and file, so we don't know why the position was not given to her. We're not necessarily to say that in forget the position, we're just curious for know why. Okay, then the current appointee or the current or the newly appointed IG, for all we know, seemed to be a man very well suited for the job. He seemed to have an impressive background. He seemed to be well educated. He seemed to have longevity in the service, in the police force. And he gets a reputation of a no-nonsense kind of guy, in the sense that not in the sense of abusing people in rights, but enforcing the law, because he's reputed to have been, if not the only, but the most effective police chief or assistant police chief now the southern province, that when he was there were no armed robbery reported. And we know armed robbery has some, our robberies, as a matter of fact, now some serious crime in Sierra Leone. So they give him credit for that. In addition to that, Namanwe Ibido work under President Kaba for a long time, a highly responsible position as a police officer and a security officer, presidential guard, and also with President Bio, he seemed to be highly regarded. So we don't get no question with respect to his fitness or incompetence. Of course, with time, we will be able to analyze and see if he will carry the footsteps of Chief Sovula, or he could take a different direction for make things a little different from what we used to see Sovula doing. So the lines will be open as soon as possible. So if you get any question or any suggestion or any proposal, please be free to give us a call and we can get into the conversation. Also, we'll get certain numbers then we will have for call. But before I mention that, I just want to go ahead and list some of the topics then. Also, if time permits, we'll go like for deal with. In view of the manner in which Chief Sovula was terminated, and looking at the situation of the country, not for this government, for any succeeding government, and even previous government, is it too much power in the hands of the president? And if so, is it good or bad? We want an opinion that the president can at will or as he pleases or at any time, without giving any reason. Is it good for the country that the president forget the power for just terminate the service of or the services of the Inspector General or the Chief Justice or the Auditor General or the ACC head? Because these are very sensitive positions then, what we think say should be for people and for effectively do their job, because these are such sensitive positions without the requisite independence for doing their job. As long as they are being controlled by politicians, and in this case by the president, we wonder if they will be, if they will ever effectively do their job. The Inspector General, the Chief Justice, the Auditor General, and the ACC chief, because these are people who take direct instructions from the president or from the president's office. So is it good for the country, or is it bad for the country? And if it is not good for the country, are these some of the things when government come and go, at least take one or two of them situations there and strengthen that institution there, for build that institution there, so it can be beyond politics, and there are many ways it can be done. These people can be appointed for term, meaning for a certain period, okay, and they can be reappointed upon the recommendation of the president. But does it make sense for the president who appoints them or nominates them get the absolute authority to just fire them, and then these people are fired without giving? Oh, it seems like the president can fire them anytime for whatever reason and without telling the public. So that's an issue we would like to discuss, because it's just with the talk about what's good for the country. This has nothing to do with the current government per se, because not to the right 10 laws there where the talk, the laws that were in existence. But if we not begin for build with political institutions, then how I will not, if every government will come to power, they meet a broken institution and left and the way it meet them, or even left and weaker than it be meet them, then we will never see progress ever. So, or will it make sense that certain positions, when they get into person, let that person they get independence without fear that he or she may lose the job? Because if we really want to make it safe for everybody, and that power therefore come from parliament, So if parliament, not necessarily get for the constitutional. I mean, when I say constitutional, I don't get for be within the constitution. Of course, it has to be constitutional, but not get for be within the constitution. These are things where they can write as a matter of policy, and our parliament can just make provision for that. So we want to talk about that. Then also, like you know, then numbers then we for call. Because there are certain numbers where, as usual, I can always announce the numbers. And the numbers are, we get a toll-free number, when 866 944 7722. 866 944 7722. Then we get a UK number, when plus 44 20 80 89 14 55. Plus 44 20 80 89 14 55. And then we'll get an Australian number, when plus 61 29 09 84 337. Plus 61 29 09 84 337. And last but not least, we'll get a WhatsApp number, when 1 343 997 5828. 1 343 997 5828. These are numbers that when I can able reach with and give on comments, on suggestions, when I express on disagreements, and so on and so forth. Okay, so go. Then there's one more topic I left out, also trending at the news this week, was this infamous container that was being guarded and watched and protected by the government. And there was all kinds of rumor going around that the content in the container now illegal drugs. Of course, Then subsequently, we'll go let for hear from now. Subsequently, after 1 or 2 days, the container was eventually opened, and they say that frozen items then be there in the container. But some people are still disputing that. So we would like for una give una your suggestion, contribution, ideas as to what you all think. And last but not least, please tell us again una your opinion, waiting at the real reason if una know why Chief Sovola was fired. That said, before I even make any comments, just to make sure that we accommodate as many people as we possibly can, let me start off with taking one call, and then we'll move forward. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where side you call from?
Hello, VS Minakola from Belgium.
All right, sir.
So I get some interruption at the network. So I know you will get good communication.
Okay, you know the hearing me clearly?
And your point of view is in this situation is because the firing of this man, because I believe say he not doing the right job. That there's no more belief in Matilda Jokoli try for explain this sort of situation. Not for say either the man he commit a crime or whatsoever, just because he not do the right job. Because in the instant, if something like this, how the container will not come all the way Brazil, from Brazil it can Morocco, it can Sierra Leone, all into we know me save the ship container. I know how long it did take for put container Wataki. And sometimes almost 3 to 4 days the process is really tiring. How could you just continue, just come hours and get that to the port? The game they play between the eye office and everything that happened today, we're going to the president of Young City. And then in reality, Sierra Leone country now republic. Because that is a country of 7 million people, only depend on one man decision. You know, whatever you say, that's good. And then there is no way out. You know, if they fire how you want, and they go purchase something how you want, not to the person at the parliament, for let them know who still they go buy, the cost now loan. Our country could just, even now the loan we don't get right now at this current time, 70% loan. Any told again at the country now 70% now they go on loan. 30% now they survive. And they go take ticket of loans again. And then that doesn't make sense. If you go break ferry, nobody know. You just are surprised. They see the part don't do well, the part they work. This now weak politician. No one do hard job for just in governance for letting take advantage of the blindness of the nation, because let me start off from APC, because most of the people them I wish I could be a long time for talk, because too much issues honestly. Because this is an election time. People some of us sometimes no call. But this one election time, we all get for talk for long. Enlightening people there. Because we see even in Northerners, even though I want to too many people like if you see no more APC, not then way for way out. APC not the number one destruction of the Northerners. And most of the great Northerners, APC destroyed them. They found the fund as a castivity. Because anybody who stand against them, and it's time for put them down. And we see that we Northerners, we are Northerners, we say APC will survive. Here is the SLPP. If we say Mende, SLPP na Mende party. Anything other man do for support above for good sake as a Salonian, for the goodness of the country. We know we see say country they lag behind, but upon all the same policy, all the repeat the same, everything just repeat the same. If any government who can power get out of the country, you see the policy only a good visionary leader. He will change the situation at once, because you know, say then go there, no good for the country. You know, say they serve and pass. No really the control one, you know, one great person just inspire any you want, anything you want, you go purchase. You know, this one with this now wall of survival. Therefore, be wise. Definitely, therefore, be wise. A country of America, a country of China, a country of European Union. If you were a blind government, obviously just do whatever you want, no checking. Definitely, I will go for survival nation.
Interrupt you.
And when time don't up, I will try for end of the call.
Now you can call. Now you can.
Anyway, I will try for call back at any time.
Call back so you can say what you want for say. Okay, that will just keep up with the time.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you so much. All right.
No problem.
All right. Yeah. Okay, sir. Now, the caller just stating your opinion. Before like for ask him, and maybe if he call back, maybe he say because the question what we ask is why was anybody know what to make them fire the police chief? And if you know, we would like to discuss that because there are all kinds of conversations out here now. Then we see a public admonishment, you know, of the police, the outgoing police chief by the minister of, I think, information publicly. So they say this is highly, highly unusual. The procedure used public castigation of a top civil servant, such as a police chief. This is not got anything to do with the merit or the quality of Chief Sovula was. When I talk about whether he was a good guy, because I get very many negative things then for say about him. But like some of we look at policy. We not look at the individual. So as much criticism as I may have about Chief Sovula, I look beyond them and just try for determine if it is appropriate for a top civil servant like the police chief, and if it is appropriate for the president to have that kind of power, to just as he feels, and when he feels, to just terminate the service of people such as the police inspector general or the auditor general or the ACC commissioner or the chief justice, because these are major. If you want country for run, you want for create a situation where the person and where you give the position not get for owe any political debt, and not get for afraid say if do as the president wants him to do or her to do, he got lost in job. So now the question and so the gentleman would just call and say, well, Chief Sovula not doing job. But I would like if he call again, make it tell we what is it that he was supposed to do or to have done, where he not do, because we try for educate the public, we want the public to understand what will happen if they know. And also we want the public for participate in terms of if we want to improve the country, if we want people and forget position and make decision independent of higher office influencing them, should people from above be able to terminate their services, or should these people be given a job where na term, get a contract, sign, this is a 5-year job, this is a 7-year job. In fact, it go good for go beyond the terms of the president. So this person can in period of time will go into a next administration if we make it like then 6 or 7 year kind of job. And of course, You know, go just get all that length of time there you get for do something for make sure say corruption it's not going to be tolerated, that kind of thing. But we'll therefore be concerned about the strength and the independence of some of the officers that are named. Because we'll go to dream, but you're not going to ever walk. You forget ACC commissioner who is not being influenced by the executive, the president. It will never work. Forget the chief justice who is not who is not independent. You have to, you know, police chief, because we get certain structure within the civil service where these people can be held to account for misbehavior while in office. So, but we need for do them thing in the, so now we also ask the question about the new police chief, Mr. Sellu, Mr. Fayia Sellu, what you want to know about him, but for the brief things that we need to read about him, it seemed to be a very good pick. You get the experience, you know, you get the experience, you know, a graduate from Jala University. Then after Jala, he joined the police as cadet officer, and then say get a degree in get a bachelor's degree in geography and linguistics. So besides that, it all serve as written in the former name that be CPO, but it does serve as a deputy inspector general or assistant inspector general na the south, and they say it doing job extremely well. So much so he hold the record that when it be the serve as deputy IG, that no robberies or armed robberies were reported, you know. And then before appointed as director of crime, he was appointed as director of crimes, as a matter of fact. Before he become the CPO Nabo, or the assistant inspector general Nabo, he replaced one Capri Camara. You know, then he worked for President Kaba, now the presidential guard, and now be head Monday for like 11 years, for quite a while. And after that, he does serve President Bio also, all with great distinction, they say. So we feel say he's a good appointment. He get experience, he get academic qualification, and it seems, and he gets good reputation within the police force or from the public so far. So, but if we don't know anything to the contrary, please feel free to call us and tell we which you know I agree with, you know. But going back to the firing of the police chief, we also asked the question: is it fair for the people in world position like IG that the president get the power for sack them anytime, and they not get for explain to anybody why he sacked them? Or can we do better by getting them people here protected, so they can do the work without being afraid, or without afraid for say I go lost my job? Because a lot of times I can want to take my time for say them here, because I try to pick the right words, because I don't want to inject or put too much English words into the creole. I want to talk and so the ordinary person go understand it. And sometimes it can be, it's not as easy as it may seem. But so now the situation and so now let me give you my own take. Well, first of all, before I give me comment on the firing of the police chief, if I can ask with technical team, let them just play the video of the police chief, the outgoing police chief, and the minister of information, the exchange and the open public. And please, I want let the technical team play that for we, then we will see which in where we'll go from there.
They don't, if na bad thing now, self them go.
Somebody invited us 10. Yeah? We opened the gates 11 o'clock, 1 hour late. Nobody spoke to us. Yes. Pastor.
Minister.
Yes. How are you?
Manager. Alexis.
Last 1 hour, we put out the 10 o'clock meeting. Yes. Myself and the media have been out there. Nobody spoke to us. At least the family shut down.
Mr. Minister, security issues are not as easy as how you look at things. When issues become a national security issue, it has to be structured.
Okay. When the IG, when the media one put out the public notice, I'm not sure you had a gun to your head. You put out 10 o'clock. So the court see that anybody just deserved was sorry, the meeting will start a little late against the shutdown. Nobody did that. So people have reason to be concerned, no?
It's unfortunate, sir. 10:30.
No, he's explaining. I mean, you have done the right thing. He's explaining.
The right thing will be probably you wait for the Inspector General of Police and address him immediately.
Well, so we are talking now.
No, we are not talking now appropriately.
Yeah, because you have been very. No, may I see cameras out here? I don't want to be on camera.
You want it that way?
I don't want to talk to the IG on camera. You want to find an appropriate.
Pigeon.
And I guess we all know why we are here. But again, this is a security facility. And so we are here because we said we suspected to carry arms and ammunition. And so we wrote to NIA and we told them we're going to have the container under our custody and it's here. But now we want to open it. Because of the word arms and ammunition, you might not know what is there. We don't know what is there. So this is why there is a tendency that something might happen and you may not like it and I may not like it. So this is why we now have this crash barrier. Everybody is going to be behind the crash barrier, including the inspection of police and even co-owners. All of us are going to be behind there. And then the guys who are doing the job, they are going to do their job. I'm sure from this point you can see what is happening. You might not see it, but I'm sure you're going to see what is happening. So this is why you have the crash barrier. And when you breach the crash barrier, then it means you are now going against security protocols. And we wouldn't want to see somebody go beyond security protocols.
All right. Several things we can deduce or take out of this, what you just see so far. From what I gather, there is some, obviously, the former IG in sacking gets a lot to do with this container that will be seen, the mask container will be seen at the back. Listening to the gentleman who was just explaining the purpose of the presence of the mask container, the little I gathered from her was that it's a container under suspicion, apparently containing contraband or something of that nature. And therefore, they brought it there for being inspected. Now, the thing is, let me start off with the exchange between the IG and the minister. There are a lot of things, these are just questions I'm raising. It is not the normal course of business that if a suspicious container is seen or found at the port of entry, Wataki, that a minister gets involved. It's kind of unusual for me, or to me. That's one, because you get effective low-level people then, we get for deal with crimes, and this is the Minister of Education. So I'm just a little curious, what was his own relevance to this whole process? And I get the utmost respect for the minister now, don't get me wrong, but I'm just talking as a matter of policy. He, as a minister of not to internal affairs minister, or I may be wrong, maybe he was, but my understanding is he was the minister of information. So why was he there? And even if he was the internal affairs minister, why was it needed? So that to me creates a suspicion over suspicion. So that's one. Two, apparently, it seems to be highly choreographed, meaning arranged, planned from the video taking to the minister in presence to the appearance of the container and the scene of police officers around. It looked like a public relation kind of thing. It all looks spontaneous. It all look like something will just happen unplanned. Thirdly, what I don't understand, and again, people can disagree with me, it seems by this short exchange between the police chief and the minister, the police chief put out a press conference, not him personally, but in press secretary or whoever is responsible for that he was going to be there at 10, I believe 10 a.m. And others were there, the press, the minister, and I think other senior police officers were there. Chief Sovula apparently didn't come until about an hour late. The minister seemed to have taken offense to the fact that when he came, they supposed to see, and I may be the interpretation of the short exchange we will see may be wrong, but I'm not sure. He not start off with saying, well, sorry, Mr. Minister, sorry, members of the press or the public for being late. It appeared like he take offense to the minister querying him or asking him or taking issue with him that he not say what he for say in the beginning, because if you notice another police officer who apparently they don't apologize in the absence but one for talk, the minister said, no, you don't talk, let him talk. Let him explain. So this was how things started going off. And then, of course, they look like for say, when Chief Sovula, I could tell say he was a little offended to tell the minister say, this is not to the place for talk. If I don't do something wrong, this is not the appropriate place for address that issue there. Well, was Chief Sovula right for tell the minister that in public, or should he have just kept his mouth shut? Because when you begin to tell the minister, say not to the place this for talk, the kind of talk where you want for talk with me, and you risk, if the minister get any authority over you, you risk, based upon the way things are in Sierra Leone now, you risk losing your job, which seemed to be what had happened. So the minister say, no, this is not the right place. Now you set a conference, so I'm here, so I'm talking to you now. Then if you notice, Chief Sovula do a gesture, like, okay, forget it, and turn around and try to walk away. Now, whatever happened after that, how the decision was reached to fire Chief Sovula, we don't know. But what was in this container? Why was it so important that it be taken to headquarters? Why investigators did not come, instead of removing the container to some location? They should have a SWAT team that could have gone right where it was at the port and try to open them, because Usain and Karen go so now the headquarters not seem like a special place where you for carry something when I think say contain explosives, if not that I'm in concern. So they could have easily opened that container there right now at Chakiri, without driving it around, without trying to create all the sensation about the container. And the question is, what was in this container? Who was the recipient of this container? Why did the government get so involved? You know? And the government not having explained to the public, they left the rest of the people and for come up with all kinds of rumors. One, people, they say emphatically that the container come from Brazil. Two, they claim say it contained contraband, mostly illegal drugs. So the problem is the government, by not addressing the situation, then left with it open for people and by not confirming and whether not true or not, for people and for come up with all this kind of rumors, say now top person at the government get them, you know, and then finally we understand saying frozen items then be did it. But with the experience now the ports, with the experience at the ports, I mean, are they telling me the port officials, they don't know how for figure out something we get stolen items or prohibited items or frozen items from, say, a contraband. I'm not sure. Something led to this sensation. We make the government itself took interest in it to the point of getting the minister to be present. You know, under good administrative practices, minister not get for day under at all. Because a minister is a very highly placed government official. And you not forget involved because you get several layers of lower level people and before you reach them. You know, so that just aroused my curiosity. But again, I don't want to dominate the conversation. As we go along, let me take some calls. We also get, I don't raise this thing, but I would just make, we do some survey. So we ask, was the action of the information minister against the former IG Sovula appropriate? Meaning, is IG Sovula right that maybe he should not have been castigated or interrogated or reprimanded or ostracized, whatever word you want to use, in the presence of others and his own junior officers? Was Chief Sovula right? Instead of keeping his mouth shut, was he right to just try to tell the minister, say, not to the president for raise the issue with the minister be the raise? We don't know. But we're doing a survey. So the question as we have it phrased, not for confuse the situation, was the action meaning the reprimand or the query of the minister, another action they would talk about, of Chief Sovula at the time and place appropriate, was action by the minister, okay, of querying Chief Sovula at that place there, at that time there, was that an appropriate action by the minister? Okay, so please call, you can give an answer yes, or you can say no. And how you can send in, you just vote. And if you do, and you want for calling, just call in and tell me how you feel about that, or why you say yes. But without further ado, let me talk to one or two callers, then we will go back to discussing the issues. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you call from?
Hello, viewers. This is Umaru, the call from Switzerland.
Mr. Umaru, always welcome. Nice hearing from you. Glad to know you're doing well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. First of all, some of we no doubt the outcome of that container. Because whenever you get a suspect item and then start from moving from one place to another, the tendency to make them tamper with that suspect is very possible. So now that make when in the suspect container, they end up for be Iyabas or end up for be anything where people not been the expert. Then the question asks again, why they no open that container? We say them suspect rather than for move them out to another space. Then now, Mr. Shilo, people and experts say when we don't get new commissioner, things they change. Anybody expect that? It just is a false hope. Because the problem is not the commissioners, the problem is the way and manner at which they take power or at which they acquire their offices. You see, we don't take a lot of responsibility, a lot of right we don't hand over and just give one person. And they still end up with the mistake up to now. Then they pass laws then at parliament where only and solely the president of sit on one side and decide. And soon we pass them bad laws and they will expect anything in there. And sell where they don't give power. So as we new commissioner, we not expect say where it go for can disobey or a girl for can no girl for can dance to the tune of the president. A girl for can do exactly the same thing with the other commissioners they do. The same mistake will be done to do as a nation. Now the same mistake we girl for can experience under this commissioner. Because why the same person will employ that other man when he not be so like he not be get any business to do that position. We suicide and pull am from lower rank right up to that position. The same person will employ am. Now the same person they don't appoint again this Sellu. So if Sierra Leoneans feel say that they get anything difference, we just they give us a false hope. I think so. We get for Sido again. We watch with constitution. We try to strip the president from most of the powers. We not go say we degrade them, but let it get some powers where people say it get for delay them on the parliament or they get a body where they set where be responsible for elect or appoint most of the people in as the president go approve. But for say, he as a president, it has pleased the president for elect somebody and you expect that person to be neutral. When the man will elect or when the man will appoint a politician, we are getting it wrong. So now then thing they go for correct. Rather than we feel say we go to do the good thing at a wrong manner, we expect positive results. So now we don't take that. Let we go again at parliament, we watch again the laws and watch again the most of the rights that we don't give the president. That invent to power, let we try for reshaper. Let's civilize for another than do yeah, you know the scene the police commissioner or the inspector of general of police answerable to a president, rather to the people. And we need a commissioner who answerable to the people, not a commissioner who answerable to one president or one particular political party. And now in the happen at Salone, all the party members in the guise of commissioner, then they give commissioner position, and at the end of serve the party or a president rather than the country. So now me won't take that. Thank you very much, viewers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Umar, for calling, as always. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's you to call from?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Shilon.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Okay, it's Bendo. Yes. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, Mr. Shilon, for everything we do. But to me, I mean, maybe somebody else knows, but I don't feel say anybody, or including me, know what to make the IG was retired or fired. So to me, I'm just assuming that everybody just is filling the gap of what they not tell we. In reference to the container, where everybody they make noise about, which is very relevant, me just feel say that container they will always be a mystery. To start with, in the first place, the container gets padlock. Me don't ship containers multiple times. Now, prison, not to padlock the pan containers, they get a seal. So that container has been opened previously. Secondly, that container they inside and saying a sausage or chicken be inside it, not to a refrigerated container. So if na chicken or sausage they inside it don't come up for 4 days, definitely that product the way they inside it don't begin rotting. 3, why wait that many days for you to open the container? Why wait that many days? If they suspect say something they inside that container they of interest, why wait so many days? Okay? Now, the fourth one where I see, where I feel say sad for the country, it is a power struggle between the minister and the IG. If the minister didn't get anything for saying, I mean, with due respect to the IG, now that public place it will address the IG? No. And the IG, as much as what we still say, the IG not there up to par, he addressed the minister appropriately. He say, if not anything, no to that public day you for addressing. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just a sad situation for some of us. We can look at their situation and still say we as people are not going anywhere. We are not getting anywhere. It's sad to say, but may God help we, and we will continue for pray. God know the come up can't solve the problem. Now we step for see the mess we dey inside for see how we will solve them. Now that's make it for say tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bendo. As always, you have always been a great contributor and a contributor and listener to a program. So please keep on the good work. Let me take one more call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where say the call from?
Yeah, this is Abdul. I call from Maryland.
Hey, Abdul, another regular caller. Nice to hear your voice. But you are not only a caller, you always make meaningful contribution to what you would discuss. So go ahead, please.
Thank you, sir. I just want to talk on the security of tenor for the appointments with the president to make within the constitution and some of the acts of parliament. And we find out since the advent of democracy in 1996 up till now, we get certain positions and they then get security of tenor. Like the bank governor, the ombudsman, the anti-corruption commissioner, the auditor general, then later the NRA commissioner. These are all positions and we get security of tenor. But we realize the presidents come and gone, they always find lacuna. Because the constitution, as I always say, with 1991 constitution, bears most of the vestiges of the 1978 constitution. So you find out, I can always say, Sierra Leone constitution, there is politicians in Sierra Leone. You see this gimmick, we always prevail. The constitution, not the body policy of Sierra Leone. So, waiting, I believe, say the politicians can for do. If they want to rewrite a new constitution, them positions then if you want to let them be independent, let Sierra Leone they compete with modern day democracy. Let them embed that security of tenor, where the president no go just hire and fire the holders of them position than they. That he must follow the rule. Like the Auditor General, we know say you therefore first of all reports to the legal counsel before you go ahead with your complaint, and the legal counsel go appoint judges, we go deliberate on them. So let all the other positions then. If now so they all day, then the so-called holders of them position then go act independently. But if there is no security of tenor, we go talk this from January to December, the problem no go solve. Governments come in and out, even if President Bio leaves power, another president comes in again, it will be the same recycling. So if the security of tenor, they let them act independently, they not go always they dance to the whims and caprices of the presidency, but rather to the people of Sierra Leone. So I just say that I get for today. I stop so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, on our what I call so far, with respect to this issue, make so much sense. Because, first of all, now make me say, we for try for bill. You see, because now the power where President Bio they exercise, now power where don't exist before in kind of power. So not to make the laws per se. This is the reason why we also get to be very careful and we get to assess and critically the people who are send going to parliament if they understand the basic functions as to what they go to parliament for. Because the way Sierra Leone they now, The president thinks about something, he goes to parliament, other groups with opposing views are never given opportunity to have some public hearing in parliament and state the reasons why they object to certain things. Everything is just rubber stamped. That is not good for the country. So, like what Abdul say, government they come and go. That's the reason why we need to get some safe, solid foundation of certain political institutions. If we want to run the country well, in fact, Abdul even added the governor, the governor of the central bank. Now, position in this way, government don't forget any influence because we know, say now, as things are, for example, the central bank, the president can instruct the governor through a minister of finance for release any amount of money he wants. Once he just simply saying that for official reason. Okay? So when the president get that kind of a power there, and we all get to look at human nature, and this is not going to have to do with current president in terms of the talk about corruption, not to corruption. The law itself is bad. The policy is bad. The regulation is bad. With common sense for that we say, a president has enormous power. And anybody who can able to hire you and sack you, they get too much sway over your life. So whose position where you go give you or where you go hold, where it can pull bread now you much anytime, where it will make you stand up to them. And even in times past, I can go back to way back President Stevens and the central governor of Banco Salone, Bangura. When President Stevens wanted to do the OAU, Bangura kept telling and say, "Pa, we can't afford this. We economy, they on shaky ground. We cannot afford for host the OAU because it takes a lot of planning, and we don't need to go borrow money for concept, build OAU village, all of that, and get on in that expense day." President Stevens not be like that. And we all know which eventually happened. So people that we get any idea about the central bank, I've always said, if it can operate like how we Federal Reserve they operate in America, it could make such a big difference. You know, because right now it's a good example. President Biden no want let the chairman of the Federal Reserve increase interest. You know, President Biden they try to do the best he can without interest being raised, because when the interest go up, it makes things difficult for people and for buy. But Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve chairman, gets his own approach. He's saying they try to avoid, they try to curb inflation and trying to avoid recession. So, but the president, as much as you not like the step where the chairman they take, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, he not going to power over him. He can't sack him. You know, he can't influence him unduly. He can influence him by discussing policy, getting young, well-educated, well-qualified people for go in the media or through other circles for convince the chairman of the Federal Reserve that, hey, not to the way this for go. But he not go say, he not go threaten him, he not go sack him, he not go do this and that. So we were the land book in the West. What we say we would go try to introduce the Western policy. The thing I don't understand, and we know better, we are not that stupid. You know, we know say for the system to work, there are certain things we must do. We cannot get an efficient civil service when we not the do what it take for maintain the balance what we need for runway economy. So let me we cite the federal the auditor general, and the central bank governor. They're going to have certain sensitive positions that the people that will hold them, the chief justice, people like that one day. They're supposed for the inspector, what you call it, the inspector general of police. If they not get a free hand for make decisions without fear, where Abdul referred to as the need for get tenure. If they not get them, there is no way. I mean, we'll just go around in a circle. There is no way we will make any noticeable progress, in any way, shape, or form. Some of the people, and the way we will determine if government is serious, now if they try for strengthening some of the institutions there. And I will hope that President Bio will get will listen, and at least by the time he left office, if he can just be proud that he strengthened one institution, or one or two, that will be seen as progress. Well, President Kabakam, he tried to do the NASIT business, the social security type of stuff. But these things, even when you implement them, the other government will be willing to follow. Without even hearing instances upon some of them money then they are being misused into going into private organizations and anything and they we're not going to do with government. But the other sensitivity about this firing, and again, I can be corrected. The police chief is a civil servant, not to work for a private entity. As civil servant, you just wonder what protection does he have in terms of his job? Should the president have the authority to just get rid of a civil servant as he pleases? So it doesn't strike me as that used to be the way things were. But I don't know if I'm right or wrong. But so when we kind of power, we meaning we the younger generations from the old Pamagai and Tim. I mean, if Pamagai were to come to life, Albert, Milton, Stevens, they will be highly disappointed and say, you mean they prepare all the even little thing what we do, what we left, they not improve none of them. In fact, everything does get worse. You see? So so these are some of the questions then where we ask. Even the police, why aren't we trying to look into it if the way we inherit them from the whites or from the colonial masters? I mean, these were not perfect people. They were just doing the best they could. But we say we get book commander now, we get a bunch of PhDs and this and that. Can they look into this thing and see what kind of changes can be made to strengthen the police force, and for make them more professional? Why do we have to just continue right along the alley of how we inherited them position there? Times have changed, and there is a lot we can learn, there is a lot we can do for improve the system. And going back to the container thing we'll be the talk about, like as far as we know, I would like to let the government just tell me what was the interest? Why did the minister have to be involved here about the opening of a container? And the caller one of the callers we called earlier say there was padlock when they begin to put this barrier for people and for stand at a distance for watch the container to be open. The seal had already been broken. So the government for insult the intelligence of people that way. So when you put padlock there, anybody they'll receive shipments at the port, container shipment, say the officials then, and they can't then come up there for break the seal. before you go even do a padlock. So something doesn't seem right in the whole process. And these are some of the things. Now, it's really getting down to a scandal. And we had the same scandal under the Ernest Kuroma regime. That was very well known from that's Kemosise, and again, shipment of certain contraband were arriving at Lunge, and then FBI, Scotland Yard, they were all involved. And of course, at the end of the day, everything was just dealt with hush, 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 and that was it. So why are we, since when would that become a terminal or an in-between for merchandise then within the ship where we know say get some legal implication? Because that happened under the Kuroma regime. Now we're seeing the same thing there, you know. So we have to take governance very seriously. We have to really try for make people know say government a serious operation, not a place for us to go play and then put paper on the wall and say, "Oh, I get qualification." We want to see the outcome of good or quality administration. But when I begin to tell people and say, "Oh, well, we can look, we open this thing, this container before people them," like the woman say, and then for insult people them, because a lot of experienced people them, you say when I say frozen merchandise them the day. Well, if not so, the woman also say that the wrong container that one day, because you go get refrigerated containers, not to that type of container they hold them in the sea. So nothing works. But it's clear, and I think one could come up with a reasonable presumption that the container had been tampered with. And the only person or persons or entity that had the authority for do anything about that container day, Usane Bidogo Pakam, not the government. So, and then there is a reason why the matter was so sensitive that the IG gave a losing job. And remember now, when we talk about the IG, we talk about policy. We not to foresee we get sympathy for Sovula. A lot of us don't, because he's been a terrible IG. No question about it. In every way, shape, or form. You know, Sovula, I think on your scorecard, Sovula had D, DF, no passing grade. You know, he has been one of the worst police chiefs I've ever seen. That country there. So not to that we talk about, okay, but we talk about the position, irrespective of who that hold, that it should not be such that that person the way the police chief feel so insecure as to do things just the way the government want them for do them. You know, because if we do that, Chief Justice position, you get to do something the way government want them. Inspector General, you get to do something the way government want them. Governor of the Bank of Salone, you get to do something the way government want them. The ACC Commissioner, you get to do. So how will we expect the country to improve? You know, where people come in now for just abuse the system and shut everybody up. So the one day where they think say when you pull one party in the power na Salone, you bring the other one, you know, and like things could be better. As I always say, that's not going to happen, because the system get very serious structural problem. And like when you build your house, your foundation crack, the wall crack, then you say this is the house you left for your grandpikin. In a matter of time, the house go collapse. We need to do it right. Now, Mr. Abdul talk about constitution. We don't need to keep, we're not going to draw up a new constitution. We can proceed with the constitution as it is. We can amend them. Any area where we think they need improvement or refinement or modification, we just simply get the qualified people then. And again, I say qualified people then because, you know, knowing we in Sierra Leone, then go take Dr. this, then go take Dr. that, then go say, go Oxford, you go Yale, you go Harvard. You know, they're not going to take the right people in for the position. Then go take people with big degrees, can write stuff where the next generation will get problem with. You know, because our problem now and then, there is a thing called specialization. Okay? There's a reason why there is specialization in every discipline or field. So, you know, if you want for example, we know say there are several areas in engineering, from electrical to structural to civil to mechanical, you name it. But just imagine if you want to build a bridge, you go get an electrical engineer, you get the contract for build the bridge because you say, well, the man is an engineer. They can build bridge. You know physics, you know math. That's what that would do in Australia. Then they give constitution to anybody for right because they're a lawyer. You know, get no specialization, not a constitutional scholar, not a constitutional lawyer, had never taken a class of constitutional law in his life. They say, oh, he can write good English. And he get PhD. So make it write the constitution. Or sometimes they will just grab and say, oh, let's take Justice X for head of commission, you know? And I've been asking this question over and over and over because every now and then I know I'm for specifically target certain people who know the names of people them who have had a lot to do with constitution and with constitutional crisis in Sierra Leone. And a lot of these people are big name people them. And yet, I'm yet to somebody is yet to convince me that any of them were constitutional scholars or were vast in constitutional law. But we keep fooling ourselves. We keep doing the same thing over and over, you know? So when are we going to learn that when someone is called a constitutional lawyer, there is a reason for that. They don't develop some expertise. And even within that field, you know, that don't necessarily mean he will sit down and draft a constitution for a country all by himself. So with problem like we still have to bring unto ourselves. So if we complain, if we don't raise the question just now, should the president have such power to, as he feels, get rid of anybody anytime? Should the president have such power, which amounts to absolute power, to sack the IG of police? But again, it's not only the IG, there are other sensitive positions that the president should not have the power to just get rid of people. But we are doing a survey, you know, on this topic. Should the president have the power to sack the IG of police? If you agree, say yes. If you disagree, send in your answer no. And at the end of the show, or towards the end of the show, we will be able to tell you now what the results are. Okay? Now, I think we've spent quite a bit of time on the firing of Chief Savula. Now, the brief thing that I've mentioned to you people, unless somebody gets a contrary opinion, Chief Sallu or Sellu seem to be very well qualified for the position. So it remains to be seen if the operation will be any different. I mean, not only different, dramatically different from that of Sovula, because people who knew Sovula have very little good things to say about him, because he had become a power all by himself. You know, in the law in Sierra Leone, he can just make declarations and deprive people of them the rights, of all sorts of rights. Speech, deprivation of the freedom of speech, deprivation of your freedom of movement, you know, and deprivation of property rights and property from I mean, Chief Sovula was involved in almost anything negative about law enforcement. He did the country tremendous injustice, you know. So I will hope this new appointee will take a different course and get more respect for what we call the law. That the law should not be used as an instrumentality for evil. It should be used as an instrumentality for help, for protect, you know, not for create fear and terror and horror in the lives of people. And under Chief Sovula, this is what people experienced. People, their property being taken, Chief Sovula get handy. People, they place go ransack, a place called Belgium, Chief Sovula get handy. You know, and no matter what you say, Chief Sovula, it was always negative stuff about him. You know, and he did this as if he was the law, the president. So he must have done something that, if one wants to guess logically, Sovula was such a power to himself that we can only conclude that he must have done something disappointing, and I would say terrible, disappointing to the current government, for him to have been just unceremoniously fired like that. Because in firing was a humiliating firing, what we would call shameful firing. You know, even a low-level police officer, you're not going to fire that way, but that's what happened. But they say, who lives by the sword, dies by the sword. That's the reason why it is in the best interest of we all, including the minister himself, that we make things, and you know, this particular minister, I mean, it's not only is he a bright man, I've spoken to him before on this show. I mean, he's a very thoughtful, well-together person. And I remember one time, he even talked about certain powers that should not, I cannot remember the topic, what we deal with. I think we will talk about the cyber law. And I remember him saying, he not believe a certain portion or aspect of the law, what the law itself said it should be in the hands of the minister for determining certain things. He himself say, no, he thinks say a one man not forget that power there. Okay? But of course, he's not parliament. He's not the president. I doesn't your opinion on. But I had a lot of respect. And the power way, but they say nothing say one man forget. Now power way get for deal with in ministry. Okay, so he didn't have to say that. So I have some regard for the man. You know, so I am not, and I don't even know the complete facts surrounding the firing of the chief. But I'm just puzzled. I'm just lost. I'm just at bay as to how information minister and police chief, when at the internal ministry, I think him belong to, how the interest interwoven to the point of him having the ability to cause the firing of a police chief. So that said, unless somebody has something else, we'll get another topic we can move to when I want for level discuss. Because we talk about the law, so we might as well. We do know, say, Uh, recently, the president makes some appointments. If the technical team can put on the president makes some appointments on a public notice, and of course that appointment day refer to the appointment of Chief William Fayia Sellu, then Mrs. Elizabeth Toure, who was the deputy. This is an interesting thing too. Who was the deputy IG, Inspector General. I think she was number 2 in rank. But of course, the president get the power for skip them. There is nothing I think will prohibit the president, as they can say, that's what pleases him. So, Miss Elizabeth Toure, who was Deputy Inspector General, was passed over, and then Fayia Sellu get the position. Now, it looked like not only that, but Elizabeth Toure, in my view, and I may be wrong, because according to the thing, they say she's now Director of Police Affairs, Ministry of Internal Affairs. Okay, so is that a demotion? You know, we would like for let the government just elaborate on that and tell we. Then there were other appointments on Mr. Amadou Mana, Senior Technical Advisor, Ministry of Internal Affairs. So then you get Bine Conte, Commissioner, Sierra Leone National Commission on Small Arms. This is interesting. And then there were 2 more appointments, but this not there within the realm. I don't need for refer to the appointments here, because get one for deal with Ministry of Agriculture, but I'm dealing more or less with the law business, you know. So I rather not deal with that. Now, there are appointments here they make sense sometimes they don't make sense. Then President Bio, with their appointments here, he appoints Mr. Alpha Khan to a new position, you know, as I think presidential aide of some sort. So that's a little bit interesting, because I think as a presidential, I'm looking for the word spokesperson or so. But the president gets a press secretary, he gets a minister of information, he gets a chief of staff, Mr. Jusu Safa. So why appoint Alpha Khan for being a spokesperson again? And this is at the time where the World Bank, they say, will for cut down on expenditure. This is the time where they tell doctors and say they cannot get them pay, they cannot get them salary, and doctors and dentists, they cannot get the raise what they ask for. But then we create new positions for somebody like Mr. Alpha Khan, who has been in politics forever. I mean, to him, to somebody like Mr. Alpha Khan, politics, not an occupation, you know? So it may be good politics, because since Mr. Alpha Khan was a top-notch APC member, now working for the SLPP government, it may be fantastic politics by tremendous achievement by the BO government, but I wonder what useful purpose that serves. You know, watching at the social interests, other than just expending money in an area at a time where would the claim say money tight, money not do. You know, doctors cannot get what they're asking for, as vital as doctors are in our lives. You know, is there really a necessity for the appointment of Mr. Alpha Khan to any position we hold? I don't know, but we get for be looking into. To me, generally, I just consider anything in the somehow insulting the intelligence of the people, because this shouldn't. Some of them are not forbid because we have to start looking into them professional politicians, then, and see if all the years we're not in the public, and we know some of them, what they actually meaningfully they don't contribute to the well-being of that country. Then. Some of them politicians, yeah, the professional wants them. Go back, then get top degrees, top notch. Go back, go to the area where they come out. How many picking and get scholarship there? How many clinics they end up setting up? How many roads they end up building? How many contribution financially, morally, socially have they made? Now they own local community where they come out. A lot of these guys have done very, very, very poorly. And I talk about going as way back as from the time of Dr. Khalifa Smart. So when these people come, the power, then begin, they do all this stuff. Now we forget sense enough for say he's in it for himself. If not, if you don't spend 20 years to do the same thing with government funds and government position, show me what you've done for the community. Show me the contribution what you don't make. But if another question in people when they allow them for zigzag, today APC, tomorrow SLPP, like Mr. Victor Fo, then kind of day, well, they will continue because life is good, So now we not for using your intelligence or common sense and put aside all this thing about tribe or region and say, well, is this guy really serving the interests of the people, even young people other than the immediate family? And is he worthy of my vote? But if we not do that one day, we are just hurting ourselves. Okay? And the other issue that I would like to deal with, I want people for contributive thinking, I say contribution of ideas. I want people for be willing for just call in and tell me how they feel. Now, that of waiting, okay, tell we what you want to expect from the new commissioner or the new inspector general. I say commissioner because going to be the old name that they will call them. But what you expect from the new commissioner, and then somebody will call slightly to that effect there. And if you think, say, the new commissioner or the new inspector general will be able to do anything different, will go good for the people. Of course, you will be able to do a lot of things different from Chief Suvula, no question about it, because some of the things that what Chief Suvula will do, they're not based on policy, now it's just gross abuse of power, I will just say abusing power as police chief, unchecked, and he was not accountable to anybody. So if this new police chief want to do that, I'm sure he has the same latitude for do what he want to do. But we hope say, not to that he will try to do. He will try to do what it takes for promote the interests of the public and protect the public, because nothing is as bad as when somebody need the police and you can't get the police, or you can't trust the police because the police they hand depan thing when they hand off supposed for depan. So with the talk say there, we don't want that. We want somebody who really go help change lives. There is one other important thing, since we deal with law and the police and this, the other thing that I'm concerned about, and we've raised it time and time again, but I think we'll continue to raise them. To my knowledge, Mr. Kamarimba, let I interrupt this myself. Hi, Miss Fadima, nice to see you.
Hi.
Please Please get in on the conversation anytime you feel, because I have been talking. So,
Yes.
anytime if you get anything you want to inject, please feel welcome. But the thing about Kamarimba, I mean, it's shameful that here is a man. Again, this is a guy I don't know, and I don't care necessarily about his policy. I don't want to know what he stands for. But what people don't realize, and the thing that makes this whole Kamarimba situation so shameful, and every now and then we can just not let the topic die. We get for bring it up time and time again. Just like how they can bring up time and time again the killing of inmates them in the Pademba Road prison and other places there. Okay? Here is a man who was accused of a crime. He has not been tried as far as we know. He was granted bail by a judge who listened to the prosecution inside, listened to a defense attorney, followed the law, and say he's presumed to be innocent, and put certain restrictions and grant him bail. Somehow, and this is a very scary situation, somehow this man is still being held in jail, and the prison director seemed unable for release demand because of orders from above. Is that how we want to run the country? When a judge grants somebody bail, there is some invisible hand somewhere that can overrule that judge there? And is that the country what we want? And without this not get nothing to do with the nature of the case or any reason, this man did not say he posed threats to the community. He is not a risk of flight. Every condition where they say if meet him, then all of a sudden he's being held incommunicado indefinitely. He's just being held there until in trial come. And then we have a legal system that is contributing to it by not even giving the man a speedy trial. Because even if some orders from above get something to do with that, why not put this case on a fast track and getting case tried, and see what you can do, and if in a conviction or vacate whatever, or a not guilty verdict when I come up with that, But to just hold him incommunicado like that, not jail, this is dangerous. And again, we don't have to wait until it happened to you, because when you don't see anything wrong when it happened to one man, and the power above, whatever power that is, get that same power there, and it may not be in the hands of the person where and this is not the problem with the complaint, but now the President Bio meets certain laws then where they take advantage of, not to him write them, not to him propose them. Now laws that would have day before he become president, where they use. And the one that will write them, will propose them, nobody ever thinks, say, power will change hands. So we not ever learn. Because if we learn, we will understand, say, not to show you the right laws. You the right laws, not to penalize or not to target any particular individual or group. Well, sometimes you can write laws for target a group. A group, let's say, if people and they go out and commit armed robbery, well, it's a group of people. You can come up with laws for target them, but now for society is good. So not all targeting of a group or certain people. If you get somebody who is a major drug dealer, the chief, the king, what you call the kingpin, it use them and take advantage of them for engage in the use and selling of drugs. If the law not strong enough, when I can come up with new laws for target that person there, because again, we try to protect society. But me to talk about the system where guarantee we all. Say if they accuse we of an offense, we get the right for request bail, and the judge for be as objective, because the purpose of bail not to for keep you locked up, now for ensure your appearance in court. So when the judge gives certain conditions where you must meet, like Cameroon bad and say for turning passport and this and that, which in lawyers say don't do, I don't understand why this man is still being held. You know, it's a scary situation, you know, and we all know Panamba Road Prison say not a fun place for go. And again, this is another thing. This is how we treat each other. Because we're all a black man, we're all an African. Nobody's talking about improving the prison system. Okay, then that's the throw people and then they make them suffer. You know? But if now wait time to do until we will begin complaining about racism. We just don't care for ourselves. And we definitely not care about the poor. You know? We just don't care. And we not care. So again, I just to bring that up, because every now and then we get for bring look in the LAG situation too. I don't only talk about Cameroon, look the gross abuse that Chief Sovola was in people that was engaged in by going and cutting the guy in here. I would hope he still get a lawyer, even with the weakness of a legal system. That he get a lawyer for sue Sovola personally and in an official capacity as police chief. He can still be sued unless the lawyers then begin to engage in any kind of lawsuits. Then they, you know, these things will not stop. So because Sovola is not going to be able to justify, not get that mandate there. I don't think any policy gives the power for court anybody in here, which he's not going to be able to defend himself. So I don't know why energy in family they not go sue him. It like when I know the case not ever come up, but let them know say not to then go get the last say. I understand say the system weak, but lawyers, this is why the profession once used to be called a noble profession. It's about humanity, it's about sympathy, it's about speaking for the underdog and the poor and the weak. That's why it used to be a noble profession. Let we maintain that nobility today if we care anything. It's not all about ourselves, it's about society. So now we have contribution and they make with lawyers there. So I encourage the young lawyers then, I encourage certain groups come to the defense of some of these people, you know. But this is wrong, which we see so. And in fact, talking about the law, we see how even the police at one point, I think they're still doing it, harassing so-called prostitutes, you know, taking advantage of them, seizing them property. I mean, we really need to give more respect to the system and the law. And so I would always promise you I would touch on that, you know. So, Ms. Fadima, do you have anything you want to contribute? Video?
Yes, it don't matter. I showed videos, but good afternoon, me people. Good afternoon. I want to tell you all thank you today, the 31st of July 2022. We tell the Almighty, the Creator, the Maker, whoever, whatever you call them, we say thank you, you know, for life and all things, you know. Una get choices every day, but every Sunday una they choose for come faithfully to we for join we in our VOS for learn listen to and join the conversation for try for out for call the problems out, for call the good out, and for try for see how for push the country go before, because you know we want a better Sierra Leone, we want a better country. Some of we know they look for go be or take team, but we they try for advocate for good governance, good country, good way of life for the people, quality living for the people. That's why we're here. And Mr. Shillon don't talk on this police commissioner, because now in a meeting they talk on and the firing of the police commissioner and all that stuff. But like I say, I get a bone first of all for peak. First of all, I'm glad because I sing unto the Lord be the glory. We tell Papa God thank you because President Bio finally don't listen to the cry of the people. Is it too late? Some people say it's too late, but me, I believe in always a better late than never, because in all things, certain people and they wouldn't get empowered and drunk over power. And I believe, like I always say, I believe in leadership because anything will go wrong, now the leadership in fault. Because just like how it pleases the president, it can please the president too. It can please the president for fire this person when they do well. Because President Bill come when it come as we don't talk this 110 them, we will continue for talk come. President Bill don't come, he say, oh, new direction, he run off the gate, commissions of inquiry, he bring Patrick Lumumba, then do retreat. We were happy. Sierra Leone'S went mean well for Salone, being glad. We agree with people and say they want change, they want cry President Bill come for change. But police commissioner, as one example, was one of the person brutalizing the people's right. The policing job now for protect the properties and lives of the people. But this man was not making it easy. He acted to me like a rebel. He acted to me like he was raping us of our rights. He was depriving us and just brutalize and manhandle the power that was given to him. Then you ask the question, was it just working for the president? Because when the president has the power to hire and fire, it is the president of the day or the government of the day, the police they deal for and work for. You understand? Because it do what he feels right for the president. It do because it try for make attention and try for make name. So that said, oh, this is what we do. We go set them out. We go quiz them. You know what? Media I will silence them. Anyone will talk because this man make and say, even if you talk FTI word, it don't make FTI cry. Some more than a FTI word. But FTI is not a crime. Now moral something, but it's not a criminal stuff. If you say this person FTI me or this person it cost me or this, it's not a crime. It is just morally wrong that in the environment in the society it is frowned upon for let somebody be rude and all that kind nastiness than they. But we see this policeman because he even talked one time the Sovola guy where he go to Belgium. All the few said they don't get money, they want challenge government, they want FTI government. We go, so all this kind of thing will be a wait for the President Bill pull this man, pull him. But finally, we see container come, we see all the noise. Next thing you know, President Bill don't fire this man. It's better late than ever because maybe it don't save lives of the next people there or the next chapter of people them where get for kill and hurt and lock in a jail and just throw away the key and forget about them. Just like you say about the camera members, even the LAJ, the way they go about it, we don't say LAJ not commit crime. We know they we don't know. It is the court to decide. But this man take out upon himself. He cut the hair, make this way, he come back. He say SOP. The Constitution supersedes the SOP. So all this thing, President Bill don't sit silently, has never come out to say XYZ or ABC. He just sits there. It's like he approves of this man the way they behave. But we're glad he don't go. We're glad he don't go. What to come next? They don't put another man. But then I had a bone to pick. I had a contention with President Bill with this say, how will Mr. President take the deputy was a woman? You say you're trying to include women. You say you're trying to approve us with at least 30%. You say this woman was the first deputy police IG. Why you don't make this woman the IG? Why you get for jump him? Why you get for overlook him? Why you go put another man in the position? So sometimes you look at it like, are we really, when they talk, are we preaching what you would talking what you would preach? Are we doing what you would preach, or just they talk no more say, don't do as I say, just do as I don't do as I do, just do as I say. Because the words are free, words are cheap. Now for act on the words, now the thing. So some of these things kind of bother us, like say, okay, are these people really serious? These people mean what they mean? The police don't go. We gladly way don't go. We don't pull on bad reasons. And this other one here, we get for all and to standard. We see we police them for the longest time, not only in this administration, but it is getting worse every day. Then they harass the drivers out there in the street. Every morning, they call it booking. Every morning, every poda, every taxi, every Okada, when they out there, every keke, when they out there in the streets of Freetown running and making money, they get for pay certain amount to the police, whether they carry and go to the headquarters, where they all they share up. They know exactly how many cars, they know how much they forget. If the people then say, hey, I don't get money today or this, that, then they take their vehicle and they carry and go to the police station, then deprive them, they dwell there all day. They see the thing. So all that they appraise say, this one we don't come, and go can try for fix the wrongs of yesterday, the wrongs and the mistake that people do not do, because people forget confidence in the police. People forget confidence in the government because they are social contractors that we have entrusted. Say can't take care of your affairs, and if they're not doing it right, we get right for call them out. We get right the next election, we vote them out. We get right for protest. We get right for come and say, listen to me, I don't like the way they do. But then we come back again. We see in the same press release they take Alpha Khan. I was like, first of all, the first and self-word President Bio don't take Alpha Khan for being resident minister. I said, why Alpha Khan? If you want to look across the aisle, if you want to bring cohesion, why Alpha Khan? Alpha Khan is a good orator. It's Sabi talk. Sabi talk self na profession. You get for Sabi talk. Because good talk, them are making say I'm Paul Cola. But then, is it for the good of the country, or is it for the good of Ian winning and securing a second term? Is it politics? Because a lot of these politicians play politics. Alpha Khan, maybe the whisper na Anes Koroma, yes. Alpha Khan was the advisor and working with EBK, Anes by Koroma. So if Alpha Khan, Una don't come from the get-go, say that a bunch of criminals, they are a bunch of thieves, they don't loot we country, they don't do this. We hear Alpha Khan with the arch gates. People that they go worship the God, the holy hope where they get. We see this man, they squander their money, nothing not come up behind it. We spend millions of dollars on the commissions of inquiry, nothing not come on it. But then yes, President Bio see and fit, it pleases President Bio. It pleases President Bio for appoint Alpha Khan as a spokesman for the president, as you now you the whisper now yes, now you the advisor, now you they tell me, then I go talk. Now you I mean come on, are we a joke in Sierra Leone? Are we really serious for a new direction? Is this new direction? That is my question. Is this the new direction where President Bill problem? What in do the longer younger, more suitable, more capable on the other side of the aisle, Sierra Leoneans that can do the job? Why we keep making these recycled old criminal politicians? Why do we keep giving them positions? Why we keep paying them and rewarding them for all the looting that President Bill claims that these people have looted Sierra Leone? Does this make sense to we? It makes sense. It makes sense now we hate them. I don't understand. I don't understand how these people think. I don't understand how these people take us as Sierra Leoneans. Because I keep telling you, because if you don't respect yourself, nobody not gonna respect you. Them mami can say, me not go be picking, me not Creole picking. Them mami can say, I you make yourself go now, Jonah, so then go give you pot for us. How you make yourself, now so then go respect you. How you make yourself, how you treat yourself, how you see yourself, how you value yourself, that's the way they will take you. They don't take we say, ah, but they are left there one day, they go talk no more, then they are nothing, no they, will they do what you want. It's the same set of people. It's the same set of people. The Victor Falls is the same set of people. When they come back in power, then they crisscross for safeguarding self. If you didn't go to down there, and then this president is tolerating this foolishness. This is nonsense. How will they go before? How will they get new minds, new ideas for move go forward when you get Alpha Khan as your advisor? Now they talk like yes. Now they speak for you. Now they spokesman. How we go get new ideologies for change with country if not of the same dirty tactics that will make out for win election 99 way for win election? How na get for make Alpha Khan the secure retirement check? and we keep allowing them. The people's money are paying these criminals. These criminals are President Bio, according to President, they are criminals. But yet he's hiring them, they put them in place just for win election. Because like I say again, you get the dirty old politician that they went at SLPP, when all hijack President Mother Bio in mind, and now what's it in them once 9 President Bio they do. Just like baby Bush, the second Bush, the son, President Bush, when he came, he dragged all in papa, the old people them, the old ideologies, the old things them, the unfinished business. Then they come finish up. And he failed. He led us to a 20-year war where a lot of people are damaged for the rest of their life. America get for pay for that. You know how much it costs taxpayer for take care of us veterans? Trauma, whether visible or invisible scars, people that have died, their families, their children. You know how much it costs America? Because somebody had an whole agenda. Somebody came and because the president had trust in them, believe in their leadership, respects them, feels that they know what they do, in second time now begin fire them. But the mistakes have been done. The mistakes have been done, and Americans are paying for it up to today. The people of Iraq are paying for it up to today. They're paying, they're suffering. Because we have bad leadership. We listen to people that with their selfishness and their greed. They're not meant to put the people first. And these people don't put the people first. And that is sometimes my frustration. Say, how can people not see this? How can we not see this? And now we're watching. What is the alternative? You always say, Mr. Shilon, sir. You always ask, what is the alternative to these people now? What is the alternative? If President Bio come out today, what is the alternative? Because APC right now, when are the biggest opposition, when are the main opposition, they don't even have their hands together. They're fighting each other. The selfishness, they're fighting, they're doing this, you hear them, I hear them, and I hear they don't even get the sincerity. It's not about the people, it's about fulfilling the egos of men. And the people are waiting, say, we want an opposition. We're tired of all this that's going on. We want something. How are we going to get the change? They're not all the pussy way most people, they say, okay, now be the former flag bearer, we said one for can contest. I saw a thing because somebody be ask who remember somebody be ask who say, who don't know we candidate, who don't feel say go wait in the court. I see a thing where them puts one of the forums, I think I forward on now we social media platform. I forward and they say this is a mind that it ticklish we mind them. They put together Sylvia Blyden and Sam Sumana. They say APC, the choice for APC. And it was funny to me, I laughed. I was like, whoa, wow, okay. So they don't put Sam Sumana, they don't peer Sam Sumana, the people, somebody did it, and peered up Sam Sumana and thing. But then you look at it again, so who else is there? Samua Kamara gets a case. I keep telling APC this. Samua Kamara gets a case. We know say this government, they go draw them foot for that case, they say Sam Sumana not there for qualify. They say whether I qualify or not, then the people they want. I said, but the Constitution of Sierra Leone say, you know, for be a criminal, for go on for president. So are we going to bastardize the Constitution because the SLPP is playing games with APC? APC don't want to get their acts together. They don't want to come together. Then we have COP. But then we see how Savula intimidates the leaders of COP. It take Madam Femi, it take Dr. Julius Spencer. They go lock them up and then detain them for nothing. They say incitement, the new English. It is trying to break their confidence, trying to break the leadership, for hold them. So they holding the people hostage. Because if you say co-op, all the parties that join together, maybe they go get somebody sensible inside all APC and all the other parties them together. Maybe they go able to build a coalition for stand up. But then you see they're breaking them down, trying to shut them down. So what do we have? What do Sierra Leoneans have? That is the question we get for Cowit. What do we get? What do we hope going forward? If we get people that were not able to run the government, because I believe if you cannot run the government, if you go that host, Dennis Bright, not Dennis Spencer, sorry, not a Julius Spencer, not Dennis Bright. Thank you very much. I forget a mistake. It's Dennis Bright. You know, sometimes me and King run before me, not King run before me head they think. You know that that is the dyslexia I get. I suffer from dyslexia. So sometimes me not could not run before the head they put all things together. Yeah, but you know we don't get a new the police commissioner be able to do the right things. We have to do the right thing. We see the other police when they pull on in position because say they're not get right for cuts the bobo here. You know, people cannot speak the truth because you're afraid of the repercussion. What thing ever happen? They never take things against you. They never do things against you. Why do we have to live in a society like that? Why do we have to live in a society? And some of us are supporting these people. We see it, but once we call out these things, we don't have the courage to say no. Because if you see you picking, when you get picking, when you get men, you picking the do bad all time, Mr. Shilon, sir. You picking the do bad, they do bad. You know it correct. They left a leg. One day the logo all I says because you go do two way, you know able to save them. And we continue for allow that. Our people keep suffering. Some of we then at them party are we good, but our people are hurting. We're speaking for the people that were the heart. We want the change. We want to encourage we governments them for bring change. Moving forward, Sierra Leone'S now we get social media. Even the president say use social media. You get for begin from A to Z. You get for tell them. You get for tell them. You get for so. Social media is the new trend of the new century and moving forward. Now we get right now, long time social media not be there. Some people will say, oh, now they criticize matter. Well, where Anes been doing? We don't say Anes do right. Because Anes do not mean say matter for do. If we say change, if we say new direction, we should be the bigger and better person. But because he has these old dark mind souls around him that want to play that dirtiness, so he goes with them and he allows them to do their stuff. Some of them, they don't pay money into the business. Some don't pay beaucoup money. When they don't give minister, they all that stuff. They pay money. They pay the money. They paid. So now that they get their profit, they allow them. So that's why they do whatever they want. Nobody can fire them because they're the cash flow of their parties. How we go there on this? The poor man continue for going to poverty more and more and more and more. Mr. Shilon, sir. That is the Sierra Leone we live. 61 years. We retrogress. Every generation for leave the country or leave the world a better place for the next generation to come. What are we leaving for Sierra Leone that's a better Sierra Leone? Sierra Leone retrogress. Sierra Leone go back to me because I have something to measure Sierra Leone to. We on generations, we are lucky. We had something. What better thing we go on to Salone say, we don't left the world a better place for we people there where they can be and the young one there where they can be. That's what every generation for strive for. Every leader for strive for. I for leave the world, I for leave the country, I for leave the place a better place for make the next generation able to thrive and live better than my own generation. But what are we doing? We're fighting ourselves. We have the vultures among us. We pick ourselves, we make we eye. Papa God, they God. Well, let begin say Mama God because sometimes Papa God not a walk again. Let begin call Mama God. So maybe sometimes we need a woman president. Now, Mr. Shilola pass back to his. Maybe we need a woman president. We need Mama God now for come because Mama God will show it for it. Because Papa God, we don't call and say today. Just like how we we shall overcome. Then slave them. Then have plantation. We shall overcome someday. 400 years. Then they pass slave. Then they sing we shall overcome. If you not take the action, change not the come. God will put the blessing when you take the action. That's what it is. Until the Alabama boycott, the boss boycott, where what in I name self, this woman here.
Dr. Martin King. Oh.
Martin Luther King, the boss, the woman on the bus, the young girl.
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks. the boss, he go sit down on the front. He sit down because they get segregation. The segregation say black they for them behind and white the number for seat. Then go now one fountain. Only black can use the whites. Only white can use this. Black not the user. Till they carry on that day after the slave abolition of slavery. Till a young small young woman, young girl. Young woman, he said, no, I don't sit down at the back of the bus. I belong at the front of the bus, just like everybody else. Every white person when they sit down black, me said become a black. He bring the change, he bring the movement, he begin the civil rights. One little woman open her mouth. Then there came change. Martin Luther King and take her, Malcolm X and take her. Everybody get inside. The other one say an eye for an eye. The other one say, Lord, we kill them with kindness. So sometimes both sides is too much. Sometimes you get for kind in the middle and balance. Sometimes they get for shake them and tell them the truth. Then sometimes you get for bio then small and speak kind. Because now go walk. All things they walk all the time. Mr. Shilon, sir, pass it back to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Fadima. I'm glad you get so much contribution for make, and because it always make a big difference. When they approach the end of the show, I want to see the statistics again, because we'll be asked if is the new IG Fayia Sellu the right man for the job? So we want the people to call in and give it, because we run a poll for show, for just project to the public what majority of people in the think. In the right man for the job, whether, so right now we'll get 43% say yes, and then we'll get 57% say no. This is the trend. So is it the right man for the job? Maybe with time, the polling will change, but the need for no as he's taking this.
People and they say this Sellu guy. People and they talk good of him. I don't know him. They say begin the police from long time ago. They say begin the police from way small. They don't then at the police, and they don't talk of him, because I think they put who is Sellu over there, Mr. The technical team don't put a Mr. Shilon, who is Sellu. Yes. And I cannot think it because it's so small to the eyes and all that stuff. But they don't put who is Sellu. And people and say he rise up the ranks, he get the training, he get the qualification. But then you can be a good leader, but if the one where they above you, which is the boss, others from the above not give you chance, which would, now we all know saying that day we deal with, now the country where we dey, where certain things they're not independent, because like we say again, the police commissioner, if na usa within na the city na they deal with the police commissioner, not to the president. The president don't get nothing for do with the city commissioner or whatever, because we get different states there. The federal government don't get no interference. Although we don't get federal, kind of thing, but police should be independent. Police should be independent, working for the people, not for the government. Police will look out for the people. But if the police, they look out, no matter in qualification, no matter in experience, no matter in thing, will he have the courage? That is the question. Will he have the courage to stand true to power? Will he have the courage to disobey orders from the above that are not right and good for the citizens of Sierra Leone? That will be the question. We will watch and see, will he be the one for say, no, sir, I don't think say that's right, sir. No, sir, I don't think say we for do this, sir. No, sir, this is against our SOP or against the Constitution, sir. Will he have the courage? That will tell me how good it be. Does he have the fortitude and the balls to stand up to others from the above when it's not right? Will he have the thing to go out there and fix the police, fix the police and unite the police and get rid of the bad policeman that won't get along? Because we have to build our police. We have to build our police. We don't say corruption not been there in Salone, corruption been there, but the police been get respect. Now the police then are the thief man there. The police then and they get them gun for going to house with ammunition. Why should our police go home with their bullets loaded? Why should Sierra Leone police they go to house with them? The police then according to people them na Freetown, they say the police them, now then they give the thief man then the gun then they can't shape. When next can they lend the thief man then they gun? Because you don't wonder who side thief man they pull gun na Freetown. So why should the police not surrender their weapon at the end of their shift? Why they get for carry the weapon they're gonna host? They don't do no accountability for those weapons. They don't do no accountability for the bullets they wouldn't they use, the rounds they wouldn't they use, na the magazine. They know they account for nothing. Policeman they work a full loaded magazine, work on a treat, can go na house, go lay on a house, come back the next day. Nobody knows I shoot, nobody no count. They don't have no inventory of these things. And that is dangerous. They need to fix all that. I hope he comes there and sees it. Because he therefore restored the respect of the police. The police there, you see them are so they dirty so. Because they know they pay their rights. Some of them don't have pride in their uniform. Some are on drugs. They never begin. I mean the police is they're reckless. If it's one and dirty, long-term policeman, they spit shiny in boots. In boots you they see you first day. In shoe you they see you first day. Uniform all iron. That's why you go see them they dirty and raggedy and what's it called? Who not gonna respect you? Authority looking like that. All those things count. Respect. How you carry yourself. How you make yourself. That's how people go respect you. But you sit down. That's how you shabby and looking like anything and everything. You know. So all this stuff. I hope he has that courage to come there. They're saying he is a good police. They're saying he has gone through the ranks lawfully. They're saying he has all the training and all the experience. Let us watch and see, because the people of Sierra Leone are expecting much from him. The people of Sierra Leone are looking up to him to stand true to power. Say, if Akin willing for walk away from a job, will he be willing to walk away from the job if there's interference from above? To tell them, say, yeah, you're back up from this job, you're back up from me. Let me do my job. I am a professional here. Will he have the courage? Will he have the courage? That's the question there. Will he have the courage? Will he have the courage to do the job right? Because we know others from above, you go and take you stand out. Will he say, no, sir, I cannot do that, sir. Okay, if that's what you say, you insist to do that, I resign. This is my resignation. I'm walking away. How many people have that in Sierra Leone to walk away from leadership that are doing wrong? Integrity, loyalty, duty and service to nation. You get the courage. Even at then country, I will do. You get right for disagree with you. You commanding officer will give you a wrong thing where they put the life on danger of people at risk. That kind of way you get right for say no, sir, I cannot do it. That's wrong. If then can you go before the board, you able to explain yourself, say this is why I said what I said, and this was the situation why I say what I say. But you know, we don't know. We watch and see Mr. Shilo. They say I'm good man. They say I'm good man. They say I'm not Sabia. But maybe for prefer the woman, will be the second in command for go first in chain. And for me prefer the woman. But then they think the woman is not competent enough. This is the two we talk about. They talk about women. They talk about they tell the world, say we're there for women. We care about women. Our men are chauvinists. I'm sorry, sir, but we African men are chauvinists. They don't want to take orders from women. When women there on top, they call us rare girl, they call we this, they cause them because they will set you more that rare girl, they want to tell nothing for you. That's how they intimidate you, by those words and calling you names and making you feel like you're nothing. Where the woman is competent, maybe more than him, but they feel threatened to take directions from a woman. Maybe that's why they didn't do it. I don't know what is reason, sir. And what he fire Suvula for 30 days, nobody don't know what in is they fire for. Waiting they fire for. What's in the environment? We see whether they in Radosware and Suvula, then they are it. Everybody is fighting for power and standing their ground. And it was so funny. It was so funny. I laughed because I was like, look at these two people. They're fighting in front of everyone. Then Rado say, oh, the cameras are there. After the fact, you know the cameras are there. You said just EB on there for later. He knows the camera was there. So now the conversation was the cameras were there. Then you say, oh, I can't talk on you in front of camera and I'll go by end. But the camera already captured it. The cameras are there. Everybody's scoring points. Who that be right? Who that was right? Who that was right against Witineko? You know? Who that was right? But Sovola was too much. Sovola too much. And I'm glad he went and don't pull up. You know, the minister said, I think Sovula can't late into the conference. Was it like that?
Yes.
He can't late.
Yep.
Then they try for next time. He get a cock shoulder. I'm Sovula. I'm there. I'm that. And I also he said they inside the Pauper group. Then they get the country back. So now Pauper against Pauper.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was so unprofessional. So unprofessional. But hey, everything the camera captures, we they see on social media, now in trend right now. So they show themselves, and the arrogance came out of the police commissioner. Because sometimes when you do wrong for so long and nobody corrects you, you believe you they make it, you they believe for saying the truth.
That's
Even
right,
if you they
too.
lie. If you lie for so long, you they believe say that lie why they lie, they become true now because you believe, because you don't get away with it so long, so you they believe and become comfortable. So he was comfortable. They think now them picking the way they go beat when nobody not come out. So then they said don't pull in power. President Boyo pull the plug from under them. Let go blue. Before the people then die back again, let go blue. I pass them back to you, sir. Let go. They get a funny thing there. And social media makes me laugh so much. Sierra Leone people are very creative. If not so we creative for how they go forward, it will be fine. They got a lot of videos out there that are really funny. I wish we can get some. Let me just play waiting the people they say. Because I mean, we in all things we offend the phone out of her for laugh, low no go crazy, low blood pressure no go. With blood pressure and the high stress they kill me with all this foolishness and nonsense. And they give me comic relief on social media. They didn't give us comic relief with this sacking of this man. All man gladly. Because me I sing, bing, 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 I sing. So I sing, I gladly, I tell God thank you, I jubilate. In it for go. Yes. Go ahead, sir.
No, ma'am. I have nothing more to say.
I wish we be getting video and they low place one or two of Sovella and joke him.
If we find any, that for save them for next week, because I'm all in favor of the comic relief one time for bring down the pressure. For please,
the kilo stress do kill people, Mr. Sheila.
Oh, for sure.
Stress do kill people, sir. And now the number one cause of every inflammation, because why do people get sick? Inflammation, swelling inside. Some side don't go, you joint don't swell, you blood vessel don't swell, this don't swell, and it causes stress to the system. So it is stress that causes it. Your body, they carry your blood for the jump. When you at one, your blood they jump, they shoot. The heart they begin pump extra. It don't like elastic. They make us so. One day the elastic no go carry again. They go make us so the left so. That's what causes illness and sickness. So we have to laugh sometimes, So I pass on to you but social media get the comic relief then they boku where they make we laugh out there. But thank you all so much. I just can help you with the topic. I missed the first topic where you talk on. I don't know what's in the very first one. I don't know if Sobula has been the very first topic.
Well, it's there. No, Sobula has been the topic. We'll just do them in different segments. But it's been Sobula and Sellu, the new police chief, and we talk about Alpha Khan. You talk about Alpha Khan.
Alpha Khan is poison. Alpha Khan are poison to read. Why do we have to pay this man's retirement, sir? Why do we have to pay his retirement? Because it don't 60 almost here, and retirement it depends. It defend a retirement check. Why does President Bill have to reward him? After I don't call Antifma, I don't make so. President Bill not a try. It not a try. It not a try at all for we the people. It not a try. But then the other side, some people will say, oh, yeah. We don't make them President Bill. And then I hear some people, they talk on, well, I teach them what I say, I mean, they don't know more. They don't hire team in a man now. Some people are rationalizing the foolishness of hiring Alpha Khan. Because to me, in foolishness, President Bill, and they get better. If you want to reach the other aisle, they get young, intelligent, good record Sierra Leone'S on the other side. Reach out to them, not to Alpha Khan again. Must see these same people. How will they grow? We not go grow, Mr. Shillong. We not go before. We will continue normal like this. Fail. And so no more go deep on it. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. We're paying these people. We're paying their retirements. Then we get people that wouldn't work 20 years, 30 years for Salone civil servant. We get them part that wouldn't work. And Pakabaka with this social security that they pay money, they don't own up all the people the money. 200,000, 300,000 people and they go take away. When they buy one bag rest, they don't work. Just imagine they don't all. Some don't get nobody overseas. They don't get no family overseas. They go work out for that money. They take the transport bill and they make it. Don't pass the retirement check. They go there and not get it. Now the doctor they say they go strike. They say one money. They say one waiting because the minister they say don't put the up. So the doctor they now where they save the people they like. They say don't all now say they strike. Because they don't tell whether they negotiate, they don't know able to come to the table. They don't know able to pay the people the rights, the waiver for pay them. Then they underpay them, then they expect. They don't get nothing at the hospital, they let them work with. Then they go out there for try for save life and all that kind of thing. You get good doctor there among them, who swear for save lives of people. Now for cause no harm. Because now they oath down the road and they tell for cause no harm to human life. That's what they take as doctors, for cause no harm. In the country, they're not able to pay them decent salary. Doctor, they make $200 for a month, $300 for a month. You work at McDonald's, if you go get past $300 for a month.
Of course.
But a professional don't take 6 years in school, 7 years, 8 years. Some man don't take in a university. For they get to it, they work in a career, they don't get nothing. They see how they waste brain waste because when they sabi, then they go to the country, they go make them. I get one my family picking, we don't doctor school now, and I in America. And Papa don't file for I don't come to America. And they can't be doctor, I don't go back to Salone. Now they can give back to because now I go get money, now I go able leave, now I go able waiting. Not to say people they were on their way, but how you go there for that kind of life? They $300 for months, they never pay on the $300. 3, 4, 5 million, they never pay on. McDonald's said if they get money past standing. I'll pass them back to you, sir. Yeah, we can take them.
Yeah, Lada, we just want to say, hello caller, what you know your name? Yeah, who's side you call from?
Hi, Ezekiel, I call from Washington.
Yes, sir, Mr. Ezekiel. Thanks for calling. So go ahead, say what you get in mind.
Okay. And thank you so much for what you want to give. So, I just on the side of issue with Alpha Can, and especially with some people and want to say now that the inclusion band. I want to let people know say not to for hire that one man in a higher position. Not only we get a number of youths where they've been in a particular place where they've been they work. You come and line them up and fire them all, not so because they're not able to do the job, not because you just want to replace them with people that you want to replace them. This now the things that they call inclusion. Not so that one person we know Alpha Can what they try to achieve. They might not be happy with what happened to Rana APC. So this is all they try to come with them so that it will give us some ideas on people and way he still hate. Not to that they what they talk about. When they talk about the mass of Sierra Leoneans, the way that then they down. Not to the one the way they don't thief we and then continue for thief we they continue for reward. And not to that. We want the youth them where they already get know-how. Some of them they've been in a place where they've been working. I can't get rid of them all. I mean, definitely you for change the top. Oh, my friends, for lower level, just imagine the money what they use for training new people. Just imagine the cost what they end up for take for people where then put them in a place where they don't know the job. For let them learn and at the same time for let them mess up. Come on. Somebody wise up. They continue to put the country behind. Just imagine them people are right now where they in a place where then they land this job for the next 10 years. Then you can kick them all out. So waiting out the reward for the country after hold us all money for train people and forget the experience. for do a particular job, for let's be efficient in the places. The first place, me, I dey look at that. Can you imagine you put me in at that place, I know say them people are waiting then at that particular place, then they support me. And they left you there because now you know, say, you therefore be accountable. Those people will do their job correctly, then go stay away from stealing because they know the man waiting at the top and the one way then they around, then they watch them because they will be accountable. Just imagine how efficient they will be. Now, that's no more I want to put me on 2 cents day. But man, we lead us and then they disappoint with. Let God continue for help. We will get the right people and at the right place. Thank you.
I mean, thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah,
I appreciate the comment.
But we serve get for help God. We get for help God. Let we say let God continue for help. We serve get for help God for do the work. Cause I tell you again, me don't believe in life now. God not they can help we if we not help we serve. When we help we serve, God they meet we in a road. We get for begin talk. We get for begin speak. We get for begin want more. We get for the begin demand more. You know, and they get young Sierra Leone'S. These people, they don't reach time for retire. They don't fail we. They don't Alpha Can don't begin. It don't fail we. They don't begin APC. You don't tell what I read is Alpha Can. You don't tell where name them a politics. You don't say where begin politics. They don't eat we money. What thing we get for show for them people? Don't hire. Don't pay. They don't go. They don't can. They don't go. They don't can. What thing we get for show? What tangible? What we get for show? Now we take road. Okay, we get 2-3 good road there where they don't tar and all that. Okay, we don't take that. We get some tenant there. You know, one building there where they don't put up. But what's it again don't improve the lives of the people? What's it don't improve? We make the change with somebody independent. We're not going for begin calling auntie, uncle, cousin, sister, and brother. Hey, send for me now. Hey, this way they not get. What's in? I mean, what is tangible that we can touch? Why we keep fighting for those people that is not bringing change to we life and we contribute with people their life? Why do we? I don't understand why we are still hung up on this tradition, custom, patriotism, tribalism, and it divides us. It not the help we for grow if we don't come together to see the wrong and try for make the wrong right. Long term, what we've been make, we will continue for the talk this because these are things we have experienced. Poor been there, but this one when they now na dirty poor. I don't want to see poor so na Salone. People them poor. Inside them water them na then they don't go live. They don't make slum area. They don't say born picking them because nothing other day for you. The picking and they come back again. It continue for poor. So poor. People and then a village dirty water. Then they waiting and call. I see a video where Emmanuel Ali puts out there. When I say I've been there for, I will show and I will show, but I don't get it right now. You know, I mean, it show the people them say the fish then are water for let them pick them because of the tradition. They say anybody who eat, I go die. They eat the fish. Now stranger for eat the fish. Then they suffer. People and they suffer the water, the dirty, Papa God. Who said we go open we eye for we see and ask for better? You know, long term we own people them, the business people them been get so then they share. I see why me big cousin then I am, my big kid then I am. I mean, we grow up with people then get with a give to the one that we not get. Then they cook, the pikin their mama, they don't go sell in the markets. Now one time for them, then they bill, then go come out school, the pikin they come out school. But you see, we granny then give, then shape, then give to people there with neighbor, their mama, then they give to the neighbor pikin there. You know, they see pikin, they waka and a treat all day, then a host. Neighbor they watch for pikin, neighbor they watch, the village was there, everybody was looking out for everybody's child. But now we don't have it. I mean, the one that were born later, and we're born during the war, after the war, and before the war, they don't know the Sierra Leone what they talk about, so they don't have nothing to measure Sierra Leone to. So that is their best they know. The worst Sierra Leone, in my own eyes, now the best Sierra Leone for them because that's all they know. So if the mistake back bill one cement, put one cement pat up the pan body, they don't look and say they don't make her in life. You deserve better, you deserve more. You work hard, people work hard, people go hustle every day, they work hard, they're not getting paid for their labor. What thing that they do, they're not able to earn for let them go able for live a sustainable, decent life. Yes, not a government they provide jobs, but government go make them conducive, go build institutions, corruption free or less corruption, where business them investors will be able to come partner with we partnership go inside the country for create jobs because we all people them long term, where them people they all been there, where been can them partnership, then company them, the lives were better for Sierra Leoneans. Because business was flowing, companies were there. We had our own. We had the forestry. We they make the best furniture. We get prisons back then. They make furniture in a prisons. We get a cacao show. Now all those stuff are extinct. The ground self not good for plant again because we don't let for so long. Fertilizer not good inside the ground. You plant now. Banfating they come on a ground. Because nobody know nothing for do. Some people say they're agriculturists, the land book, the land, nobody know able for solve we get land, vast amount of land. Nobody know able for solve the problem. No go feed we self inside Sierra Leone. Nobody knows sabi. But yet they claim to have all these degrees in under the belt. Nobody don't know how for push go before. Nobody don't know how for tell say low we make so can't lay better the people there. Low help the people there come on. Nobody remember that. They all man remember. I see them come and power. They begin build house. They begin build mansion. Then get big car them. That's all black people we are thing. So till next week I left with me. I mean we talk, and we will continue for talk. Because this is the voice of Sierra Leone. Again, I say, una always get choice. Una always get other side and for go. But una they take una time week after week. They can't listen to we and they'll join the conversation. So I say thank you to everybody. I say thank you to una because now una voice matter. Yeah, not a we they talk with you, but una your voice wanna put up for the conversation. You know, it make the conversation go, and they are listening. They are hearing us. And we not get for tired. When they do good, we will talk the good. But when the bad pass the good, I say any government, when the bad pass the good, let them go. Let other person come. When the other one then come back, when the bad pass the good, let them go. Let other one then come. So if they don't know, say the people of Sierra Leone serious about what they depend, then they go treat we serious. Until then, I will see you next week. We will come back with more salon business, more salon talk. I love you all. Remember, God is love. Go be on beautiful. Go be on you. If I shine today, not jealous me. Go work by yourself. Tomorrow the cloud will be over me. The Sunday over you. So till next week, I love you all. I love you all. I salute and God bless we all and God bless Sierra Leone. Thank you.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much. So we'll go. I look forward to next weekend. And until then, stay safe. Thank you.